Hello everyone, it's Avalina Owlsong, and today I just thought that I would talk about a topic that I consider pretty important, for me personally, at least, in witchcraft. It's an element of spirituality that I feel a lot of people need to connect more to, partially because we are so just disconnected from the earth in general, and I think that's part of one of the reasons why so many more people are getting into so many more people are getting into like spiritual practices because of our disconnect from the planet. And there are some major aspects of it, and the one I want to talk about today is animal spirits. Animal spirits have been a very important part of my practice since I started several years ago. And ever since, they have changed, they have done their thing, and I just wanted to talk about my experience combined with why I think they're important and cultural significance and stuff. Here's the penguin. And, oh my god, look at his tummy. Oh my god, it needs to be cleaned. This guy, like, I don't remember, I got this guy when I was a kid, and I kept him around because he's sparkly and blue, but, like, jeez. Anyway, so, let's go. So I think animal spirits and totem animals are so significant because they find a way to connect us to the land, to other forms. Just blew out a candle. They find out a way to connect us to a type of living that we do not know, but a type of living that is connected to nature and the wild and the land and the elements by seeing through the eyes of an animal. Because they live in the forests or the desert and they have to survive in their own way, in a way a modern human does not. There are so many different types of important animals in each culture. For example, the Celtic path, which is the one I follow, there's the stag. The stag is one of the most prominent ones. He's connected to the god Cernunnos, the god of the hunt in the wild. He's very much connected to the trees in the forest. You got the rabbit for Ostara, for the goddess Easter. Her name is probably Easter. Pronunciations are, like, not my thing. Anyway, you got that. Definitely a symbol, and you got the agate. No, thank you. Yes. I'm kind of busy, sorry. Anyway, sorry. I have yet to learn how to edit my video as well. I know how, it's just like my laptop is weird and doesn't have the technology for it, and I mean, I assume I can do it from my phone, I just never learned how, so sorry about that. Anyway, you got the rabbit, and you can even think of certain gods and stuff. Actually, in the Celtic pantheon, there's also Rhiannon, who is connected to, is she connected to birds? Yes, she's connected to birds. She's the goddess of the birds, I think. Or is she goddess of the horses? I think it's the birds. Anyway, correct me, because honestly, I haven't really kept up with the pantheon in a while. I've kept to my closer gods and goddesses. She's not really one of them. Yeah, so anyway, you can also think about, like, the Egyptian pantheon. You got Anubis, and you have Bast, who are basically human figures with cat and dog heads. So you can see how important animals are in these ancient cultures. And like I said before, they're very symbolic of being able to connect to the outer world, and a world we don't understand as human beings. Totem and spirit animals are quite different from each other. They're in the same realm, obviously, of having an animal around to help you with your magic and your spirituality, but I think they're different. I don't really remember right now. I looked this up the other day, actually. I should probably have written this down, but I didn't. I think totem animals have to do with, like, who you are and your personal foundation, whereas, like, a spirit and or power animal has to do with, like, what you want to become and the qualities you need to work on. So, yeah, in order to find your animal spirit, your main animal spirits, this is not to say that certain animals will not appear throughout your, your practice or your life, but usually I think people find a main animal or two. I just did this. A main animal or two. I'm tired. Anyway, a main animal or two. So when I first started witchcraft, I did a meditation, and I just remember that I think I did something specific. Basically, I sat on a beach, and the waves were rolling, and I heard something like a cat growl in the back of my head, and quietly beyond the pine trees, for some reason there was pine trees on this beach. That actually still happens in my meditations. It's always pine trees on a beach. Quietly and very sneakily, a jaguar appeared and kind of looked me up and down and sat there. He didn't even come close. And I think he didn't, or she didn't come close, because I wasn't ready for her. And apparently I'm still not ready for her, because she doesn't appear that much. She does appear sometimes, not that much. But then, a few other animals came. The tiger came for a second, and he kind of disappeared. He didn't really become important. And then an owl and a hawk came. Owl and a hawk have become two of my most important animals. When I started, it started with the hawk, but now it's become the owl. And I think that's a sign that I am reaching my actual core potential as a spiritual person. I like to think that anyway. And as somebody who's not afraid of the darkness. When I started witchcraft, I definitely tried to open myself up to darker themes and shadow work and stuff. But, you know, as I got older, I became more comfortable and more ready for it. And the owl started presenting him or herself quite a bit. So, that's my main spirit animal. The animal is obviously a symbol of wisdom. A lot of people know that. But also a symbol of quiet, finding yourself, of cleverness, of a lot of things. Now, for me personally, I feel this is my totem animal. Whereas my hawk animal, who is still very much present, is my spirit animal. Somebody who guides me to be stronger and more determined and sharper with my senses. So those two together are just such a great mix. So the fact that they're big, powerful predator birds who are literally, so to speak, day and night, it's pretty cool to me. So, totem versus power animal is more like, yeah, like I said, like who you are versus not just what you need to work on, but also your goals and what you want to be, what you think the future holds for you. So that's what those two animals are for me. You can do this through meditation. You can also do it through, you know, a lot of people, you sometimes I've thought of an animal out of nowhere for no reason. Like, I've thought of a chipmunk or a monkey, and suddenly I will see them subconsciously in my mind for a long time. In the past few months, or they will appear symbolically in some other way, for the past few months, the seahorse has actually shown up to me quite a bit. They've appeared in some of my visions. They appeared in a dream. On top of this, my Celtic zodiac animal happens to be a seahorse, and I found that out long after they you know, the seahorses showed up in my realm of consciousness or subconsciousness. And then after all that, I pulled a card out for myself the other day, and it's in my deck on my shelf, but it was two seahorses on it. That's a coinky dink. So that animal is clearly important to me. And so yeah, there's things like that. They show up in different strange ways, and it's good to pay attention. And it's good to pay attention, and this goes for spirits in general, I think. It's good to pay attention to where they show up and how they show up. And even if they show up for a second in your mind for no reason, I think it's good to pay attention to that. What else do I have here? So yeah, like I said, that goes for all spirits. If you feel them even subconsciously in your mind for no reason or out of nowhere, they're attempting to reach out to you. Sometimes it's your imagination, so to speak, but sometimes I believe that your imagination is definitely connected to your intuition and your spiritual thinking. I think they go hand in hand. Sometimes when people say it's just your imagination, it's sometimes something you're meant to pay attention to. So there's that. I think, what did I write? If you're I can't read my own handwriting. I took notes on this. I took like a guideline, but I didn't really, gosh, okay, well, let's just pretend like I have neat handwriting and continue. All in all, I think animal spirits are a lot more important than really any other spirit. I'm an animist, so I believe everything has a spirit, including trees. But I do believe that animal spirits are probably the most important for a witch or spiritual person of any kind to try to connect to, because they are the ones in nature that are in a way more like us. They eat like us, they sleep like us, they move like us. They might even think like us. It depends on their brain level, I guess. Elephants are supposed to be really smart. Did you know that? So are pigs. Pigs are actually super smart. I think I tweeted this the other day, but pigs are actually supposed to be super smart. Unfortunately, most of the time they are only given the option to run around in mud. I would like to see what they could do, but that's going off the topic. But I guess not really, because they also can, like, they have instincts, they have intuition. They have a lot of things that trees, plants, and everybody else, rocks, they do things more like us in the long run than those trees and plants do. And I think that's why it's so important, because we can connect as living, walking beings to these animals. And yeah, animal spirits are very important. I feel like an animal spirit can be like a familiar too, you know, like a real animal in your life, your cat, your dog. I think it's so important for those reasons. And that's the real way we connect to nature. The also thing is, because they're like us, they run to places and do things that when we want to know something about the world, they will be able to see it with their own eyes in a way that, but they will be able to think and process it in a way that will help you as a human see things from their perspective as an animal, and therefore get closer to nature. Yeah. I guess that's it. I always feel like I have to say more in these videos, but I guess I don't take detailed enough notes. I have like basically a guideline here, and I feel like I still can't read what I wrote in the corner here. If you're blah blah and or blah blah blah. Oh, if you're a something or a witch. Okay. I think I went over that. So that's all, my little friends. I hope you guys are hanging in there. I hope you guys aren't too bored. What else? Yeah, so I have an actual structure for this channel. I'm looking up because there are dates I want to do for specific videos. I was actually supposed to do this video yesterday, but I conked out with exhaustion for some reason. Today was a busy day too, and I was tired, but I felt more up to it. Yeah, there's books I want to talk about, there's trees and goddesses and all that good stuff. And so, yeah. And, oh, by the way, I'm continuing to write more music, songs, and flute pieces and stuff. So, please stay tuned to my other channel. You'll probably find it in my about, but I will post it down below anyway in case you're curious. Okay, so, have fun, guys, and, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Okay, I hope this was a good video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Ta-ta!